Hey everyone, and happy Friday. John Hendricks coming at you with another episode of The Drive, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook here on Boot Crew Media. Again, Friday, final Saints injury report has dropped. Among those that will not be available against the Seahawks, jumping straight into it, Michael Thomas, first of all. Again, toe injury. We've talked about it plenty on here between Chris and I. It just is really just the importance of getting healthy. That's really where somebody like Thomas is at right now. And so we'll see. Good news is that, the team really is not in a position where I believe that they think, hey, we got to shut Thomas down on IR for 4 games minimum and then try to bring him back. So hopefully we get to see him sooner rather than later. But then obviously just not having him out there is a bit concerning. PJ Williams is going to miss this week. He's got a quadriceps injury. Calvin Throckmorton, a hip injury, he's going to be out as well. And then, really as far as where things kind of shift a little bit more to the with the defense, Peyton Turner is going to be out. He's a chest injury. So 4 Saints ruled out of action. Jameis Winston is doubtful this week. Dennis Allen saying that he believes that Andy Dalton is going to definitely be the starter for Sunday, with Jameis, again, focusing on the rehab aspect of things. And Andy's in line to start his second straight game for the Saints. And so, look, I think Andy Dalton is the right call here, obviously. You don't want to rush Jameis Winston out, given what he's dealing with. Again, we've talked about it plenty. Ankle in addition to the back. They need him for stretch. You're coming up on a lot of games here that you're going to have some interesting tasks at hand when you face like the meat and potatoes of the schedule. And this team is 1-3. There's no need to trot out somebody that, is not 100% really. And look, Jameis is a fighter. He wants to be out there. He's out in the locker room afterwards and such. And, again, this is a tough decision, for the Saints, obviously. But, right now, Andy Dalton is the guy that you signed to be this type of role for the team. Something like this happened. And so he's going to get the reins on Sunday. Jarvis Landry is questionable. Alvin Kamara is questionable. Andres Pete is also questionable. But look, those guys are expected to play. Alvin Kamara told us earlier this week that he's going to play for sure. So that's obviously good news. Jarvis Landry is a guy that, we didn't see at practice on Friday. But again, Dennis Allen was asked after practice at his press conference that, look, he feels good about him and his chances of playing. So that's going to be a good, important thing for the Saints wide receiving core. Again, kind of like last week, it's Chris Olave, Jarvis Landry, Marquez Callaway. Those are going to be your kind of big weapons. Traquan Smith will be sprinkled in there a good bit. And then we'll just kind of see how things play out, right? And so I think Adam Troutman is a guy that could potentially see a lot more targets here in addition to Alvin Kamara, just because of the way things are going to play out against the Seahawks. Fast defense. They play with a lot of grit and such, and just really, you look at that game between them and the Lions last week, you're just not going to expect any type of like shootout, if you will, for sure. But, it's the Superdome. Anything can happen. Saints are definitely the team that's more desperate here. They're going to have Geno Smith, DK Metcalf, Rashad Penny, Tyler Lockett. They're going to have their hands full, right? But look, this Saints team is definitely, I don't know if you say this is a must-win game, but really, if you're going to try to turn the tide and turn the ship around, you got to win on Sunday. You're going to have a favorable home schedule right now, just favorable in the sense that you're going to be home a lot more this month of October, and so you really got to capitalize on it. Andy Dalton, he's going to have to get it done in the Superdome. And then obviously defensively, Marcus May is the other big piece that is on the injury report, questionable going into this one with the rib injury. I think it's more optimistic that he plays this Sunday, just especially given that PJ Williams is out. But we'll obviously see how it kind of plays out. And, Chris and I will be talking a lot about this game in our pregame show. So be sure to stay tuned to Boot Crew Media for more there. But Saints, hoping for a win because it's time. This team is very talented. They got to stop shooting themselves out in the foot or shooting themselves in the foot and just stop the penalties and the turnovers. It's not simple right now, but lean on Kamara, that offensive line, get some stuff going, some drives going, sustain them a good bit, and hopefully they get a win. And speaking of wins and such, be sure to check out DraftKings Sportsbook using the code BOOT, BOOT, for your chance to win $200 with just a $5 bet. Same game parlays. Alvin Kamara over under on his rushing total might be a good one to look at. Chris Olave is a hot target right now, getting his yards in, and Dalton maybe over 200 yards passing. A lot of ways you can win some free money from DraftKings. Be sure to use, again, the code BOOT, BOOT, for a chance to get $200 with just a $5 bet. I'm John Hendricks. This has been the Drive Friday edition. We'll see you again on the weekend. If you're at the game, be sure to remember that the Superdome, they've changed a few things out for how to get into the Superdome this year. So be sure to download the app and follow the instructions, all that good fun stuff. Again, John Hendricks for Boot Crew Media, signing out. Have a good weekend, guys.